Hello and welcome back to the channel.
You don't want to be in my video?
Are you scared of being on the vlog?
No, the video quality was really bad. I have to document my bowl.
I am slowly trying to add mass. This will probably be my last time bulking into the summer because Nationals is going to be moved to June next year. So I am trying to gain weight into about June, and then I will cut probably July, August, and compete in September. Training has been mostly uneventful, except I have made it more interesting by changing a little bit in terms of whether or not I use the belt. And I've actually been trying to use the belt for bench and trying not to use the belt for the other lifts, and I'm kind of going back and forth on that still. I feel like the belt doesn't really help me that much with strength for bench, but it helps me be a little bit more stable, and it helps me to cue my arch, which really is not a significant arch compared to the high arching people. So it helps me maintain that position a little bit better. So I'm still playing around with that. I haven't really tried to do singles to the point where I get stuck, which is usually my sticking point, so I'm not quite sure how it'll work when I actually go heavier. Training has returned to higher volume, so sets of 7 to 9. The weights are still pretty challenging, but I don't feel like I'm getting beat up because everything is fairly easy and I'm using this time to focus on technique. This bench angle is just to kind of see if I'm even or not. Unless the camera is slightly off, I think you can kind of see that my head is uneven, so my head isn't really centered. You can see more of my left leg. So it looks like I'm not centered on the bench, which is something I should work on, although it's a little bit hard to tell on meet day because you're not going to be setting up in the same environment you're usually training in. And it's kind of hard for me to get that angle because often people are using the rack behind me and I don't want to be, a pain and be like, can I put my tripod like right where your body or your bags are gonna be? So I usually don't get that angle. With dumbbell presses, I went down to 50 pounds. I was, I think, using 55s before the meet, but I just wanted to give my body a little bit of a break and work on increasing reps. So each week I try to add a rep to at least one of my sets, and sometimes if I'm feeling good, I'll add a rep to all of my sets. But this is just something that I'm trying to use to push myself with accessories. This gym doesn't really have many options for machines, so I kind of do what I can for accessories with barbells and dumbbells. This is a reverse grip curl, and this is my first time videoing it because this off season, or this part of the prep, I guess we're kind of in prep, I'm trying to improve my upper body exercises, and I think taking a look at them and honestly critiquing them could be a good place to start. I do these mainly for elbow health, so I'm not trying to grow my forearms or anything like that. These are just something that have helped my elbows stay healthy, so I continue to do them even if my elbows feel fine. This is a really basic tricep extension. The way that this cable feels, the resistance doesn't feel really consistent throughout the motion, and I think I would probably slow these down normally, but the resistance just kind of feels a little bit weird. So usually I probably wouldn't do fast short reps like that. I would probably try to emphasize time under tension. These are face pulls, and these feel pretty decent actually. This is just a exercise for the rear delts, and because for bench we're doing so much pushing, I just like doing this to work on the rear delts and just, have a pretty balanced shoulder. These cable exercises take way less brain energy for me, so I don't mind doing them at the end of the training session, and I also tend to superset them because they aren't the same muscle group. So I'll do face pulls, superset with tricep extension, and I think I watched my video back and then I tried to kind of change up how I did these extensions, but I mean, I definitely feel it in the tricep. I don't think this is the best machine for me, but it's kind of what we have to work with. This is a gym that we go to because our old gym closed, and there's only 2 locations around where we live that have strongman equipment. So we go so we can kind of both train together, because Grant often helps me with spotting. He makes my training plan, and I do have a pretty nice setup at home, but we are in an apartment. We are on the 3rd floor, and it's not the best for deadlifts, and I don't have competition specific equipment. So we make the best of what we have to work with, and I'm hoping one day to get a garage and be able to fully train at home if I needed to, because we do drive a long way to the gym, there and back, 5 days a week. So it's kind of a lot. I like to bench at home on Thursdays because that's an easier bench day for me, and it gives me one day of the week to kind of catch up on chores around the house that I kind of superset with my sets. One thing that is nice though is we've been getting a couple more members. When we first started coming here, there weren't really people training at night, so it was just kind of us two, so it kind of felt like garage gym vibes, but now there's a couple people, so I can kind of bounce ideas off of people, or I think when people ask me to explain my training, it makes me think about it more. Kind of like how when I watch my videos, it makes me think about why I'm trying to work on certain areas, or what needs to be worked on, or why I'm doing these accessories the way that I'm doing them. I've been really consistent with my training since getting back from the Arnold. I am planning on taking a few days off this month. So April I will be gone a lot because I am going to be doing things with my family. And so I'm taking this as a good time to just let my joints rest, and I'll probably do some hotel gym workouts, but I'm not going to stress too much about not being able to train. And then I will go super, I guess not super, just regular back into training once I return. And I should have a good solid few months leading into nationals. So I'm pretty excited about that. I did notice the first few training sessions back from the Arnold, things did feel a little bit off. I usually do a practice single for all my lifts, and that's just to get more technique work in. And when I did my deadlift single the second day back in the gym, it just felt so hard, and I was just thinking, wow, just a few days ago this was like, barely warm-up weight, and now it feels so hard. I felt so fatigued. But a few weeks in, I'd say maybe by the 3rd week back, everything started to feel kind of normal. The week before that, I was starting to PMS, and that's usually when I feel weaker anyway. So I think that was playing a role in just everything feeling hard. But these singles that we do, they are pretty reasonable, so it's nothing full out. And again, I'm just really trying to practice bracing. With the squats, I was doing everything beltless other than the singles for a while, but then I realized that wearing a belt actually helps me brace harder. So I think the belt is going back on with at least rep work that is pretty taxing, but maybe not for light conventional deadlifts and front squats for now. Thank you so much for watching. If everything goes well, I'm going to have a little bit of travel footage in the next few weeks, and feel free to leave any questions you may have below.
This is
Oh, so she does a video. Got to.